As I walked through the dark forest, the fading light cast long shadows between the gnarled trees. The air was thick with an unnatural silence, broken only by the distant rustle of leaves. Each step felt heavier, as if the ground itself was trying to pull me back. Suddenly a chill crept up my spine. I stopped, sensing I was not alone. I turned slowly, scanning the trees for movement. Just then, I caught a glimpse of something white darting between the trunks. A flash of pale skin, perhaps a hand, but too quick to confirm. Ignoring the urge to run, I pressed on, the path growing narrower and more twisted. My breath quickened, and I could hear my heartbeat echoing in my ears. I thought of turning back, but something compelled me forward. I stumbled upon a clearing, illuminated by a full moon that cast eerie shadows on the ground. In the center of the clearing lay an old, crumbling altar, covered in moss and strange symbols. I approached cautiously, my pulse quickening with each step. The air felt electric, charged with an energy I couldn't explain. As I reached out to touch the stone, a sudden rush of cold wind swept through the clearing, extinguishing my breath. That's when I heard it, a whisper, soft yet unmistakable, wrapping around me like tendrils of smoke. "Leave, before it awakens." Panic surged through me, and I spun around, but the clearing was empty. The forest had fallen silent again, as if holding its breath. I turned back to the altar, now feeling an undeniable pull toward it. I knelt, tracing the symbols with my fingers, a compulsion I couldn't resist. As I touched the last mark, a low rumble echoed from deep within the earth. The ground trembled, and the air thickened with an acrid smell. From the shadows, figures began to emerge, their faces obscured but their intentions clear. They moved in a slow, haunting dance, their bodies twisting unnaturally, as if defying the laws of nature. I stumbled back, horror flooding my veins as their whispers grew louder, more frantic. "Join us. Join us," they chanted in unison, voices echoing through the forest. Their eyes glowed faintly, and I could feel their gaze piercing into my soul. A wave of dread washed over me. I was entranced, unable to look away. Fighting against the force pulling me in, I turned and fled, branches scratching at my skin as I darted through the trees. Behind me, I could hear their laughter, a sound that chilled me to the core. "You can't escape," they taunted. I ran until my lungs burned, finally bursting into a clearing bathed in moonlight. But it wasn't safe. In the center stood another altar, similar yet different. As I backed away, I realized the forest had shifted, and I was trapped in a loop. No matter how far I ran, the whispers would follow, growing louder, more insistent. With a final, desperate glance back, I realized the figures were closing in. They were part of the forest, and I had awakened something that should have remained buried. The last thing I remember was the chilling sound of their laughter echoing through the trees, swallowing me whole as the darkness embraced me. The next morning, the forest stood silent once more. The only evidence of my presence, a set of faint footprints that led to the altar, disappearing into nothingness. And as the sun rose, the whispering began anew, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to wander in the dark.